So one of the most important things that you can do with your business is to invest into really healthy client relationships. I've had some clients with our agency who've stayed with us for years since we started the agency and they've not left. Why? Because we continue to provide value year over year and we grow together just like any good relationship. Now, if you're having a churn problem, that usually does mean that your product needs some work because a lot of times you might have a good relationship. I've seen a lot of early on, let's say you're a service company or even you sell e-commerce products. Usually your customers are pretty happy with you at the beginning because you're so hands-on. So usually the churn problem tends to come in as you start to scale. But let's say you're starting to scale and you're starting to notice that some of your customers are leaving. So how do you help make sure that these customers don't leave and they stay with you for a super long time? Well, the first thing you want to make sure of is, again, that the product is dialed in. If you have a really good product and you can watch some of our other videos on this YouTube channel for some of the product updates and advice, let's say that you've already nailed that part. I'm going to move on to some other things. But let's say you've covered that part and the product is awesome. People are telling other people about it. It's viral. You gain a lot of authority. You gain a lot of trust. You have all those things going for you. That's covered, let's assume, right? So how else do you keep people? Well, the first thing you want to focus on is the first 90 days of any relationship. The first 90 days is the most important because that is typically the time frame that will help you establish a customer for life. If you can nail that first 90-day window, they will probably stay with you and they'll send you a bunch of new business. So how do you do that? Well, there's a couple of key ways. One, you can create a program that is actually for the duration of those 90 days. So one thing that I do is I have a 90-day challenge that I put my customers through. And what happens is when they go through that 90-day challenge, they're learning everything about my business, about how to grow, how to scale, all this stuff. And what that does is it basically makes them a raving fan. Because if, let's say you do, you have a marketing agency and you do digital marketing services, you do email marketing, right? And let's say that it's not usual for agencies to put their customers through this sort of a 90-day challenge. Your customers are going to be raving fans because you're doing something that other people aren't doing. And you're giving them an experience that other people aren't giving them, which means they're more likely to stick with you and more likely to share with other people. So ultimately, what you want to think of is you want to think of all of the people you're with as essentially flipping the script and thinking of them as lifetime customers. What things would you have to do if none of your customers ever left? Now, obviously, there are going to be some people who leave because there's natural reasons. Like, for instance, their cash flow could be in problem. They could have businesses growing and scaling their own business. There's natural reasons for churn. And those things, there are actually ways to maintain that relationship even after they leave. And that's to offer something for free that still gives them value. So when you think of sort of the customer value ladder, right? What that basically means is you have a free product, you have a low tier product, you have a mid-range product, and you have a high tier product. And you basically ascend all these customers through every single tier of this value ladder. Now, if somebody churns, you can offer them something for free, which then keeps them in the system because most likely those people are not going completely out of business. They're going to come back to you at some point in time. Just right now, they can't come back or work with you because they have an issue. So even in those situations, you can still maintain that relationship by offering them something for free that they would not easily be able to get elsewhere. So some other tips for maintaining this kind of a client relationship is to immediately call people if there are any problems with their service or anything. A lot of people default to email communication when there's a problem. And I typically see this as a bad thing because what happens is when you just do email communication, people tend to lose that intimacy with your brand. And really when you're a small business, which 95% of businesses on the planet are, you want to have a really good relationship with the people that you're working with. Because sometimes a good product experience is not enough to keep somebody forever. And customer service or customer support in a lot of ways is actually part of the product, right? So you want to make sure that's baked in and accounted for in your costs around product design. But the thing is, there's a difference between customer support and customer success. Customer support is reactive, meaning that people are contacting you and telling you about their problems when they happen. Customer success is being proactive and reaching out to them and saying, hey, I see that we're month 3 in the relationship. We're getting these results. How can we improve it? How can we hit our deliverables faster? How can we improve on this project? Whatever it is that you're delivering to people. At the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to think about it in those terms. If you can do that, you're going to get way more people interested in staying with you for a while because they know that you're a proactive person. What happens also when you're proactive is you give them peace of mind. A lot of times businesses, they want peace of mind. They're willing to pay for peace of mind. CEOs of companies want to be carefree. They want to have their own business on their own terms. They don't want to think about all this other random stuff. So if you have to constantly keep them in the loop and you have to have them come to you when there's a problem, that's going to make them really upset and it's going to ruin the relationship. So if you can be proactive and customer success focused, then you're not going to have the same problem. Hopefully these tips have been helpful for you guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to share or subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help if you comment below, you can ask any questions about how to improve your customer success, and I will definitely help you answering them. Thank you so much for anybody who's been following these. If you have any suggestions for content you want to see in the future, do not hesitate to ask. Peace.